if you're not using video or you're not putting yourself out there, then you're probably falling behind. And then you have this big group of people, about 80 to 90% of people that are in the not yet group. They are not ready to buy. People don't trust people as much on social media. Businesses, they don't need more content. They need the content that actually works for them. It's not about likes. It's not about follow. It's about building trust long-term with those people. That's the name of the game, is be consistent, but also build trust with people. Intentional consistency produces unexplained opportunities. Let's jump into this framework. So the first one is, all right, so some of the things that we do for businesses is we help them create content, right? Because right now, looking at social, looking at the landscape of marketing is, if you're not using video or you're not putting yourself out there, then you're probably falling behind, you know? So there's a lot of businesses that are starting to use video content to market themselves, whether organically or paid media. They want to be able to just create content, you know? So I've come up with a framework. I have multiple frameworks, but this framework that we're going to talk about today this is the first team podcast of the year. This is what I'm calling it, Team Creative Collection Team. So anyone that is joining us, welcome. My name is Akin, and I'm joined by
Matthew Duarte.
And so today we're just going to talk about this framework, and I'm going to present the framework, and Matthew is going to kind of like act as you, the viewer, and any questions that you may have about the framework and how it actually works for your business.
Yeah,
right?
3 years of experience compared to like 11 years of experience.
Yeah, about 13 years.
13.
But no one's
Crazy.
counting. Officially, 10 years of actually having a business in May of this year, which is crazy. But really started dabbling with video probably about 13 years ago, because my first YouTube video of me dancing was about 13 years ago. That's crazy.
Wow.
So messing around with the camera about 13, 14 years, but really professionally, even 10 years ago, I wouldn't call myself a professional back then. I was learning, you know? And so I'll say in the last 5 years, you know, that's when I felt like this is what I'm doing. You know, I know exactly what I'm doing. But let's jump into this framework. So the first one is B. So it's called Bridge. The Bridge framework. The first one is B, which is brand. And the way I like to define brand is, this is what someone says about you when you're not in the room. You know, it's your reputation. It's the way people talk about you. So let's say, for example, if you're a business and you have a fast response, you know, to like a service for HVAC company, and you have a fast response to the house, then your brand, part of your brand becomes fast response. Or let's say you're a restaurant and you're a family-owned restaurant. Part of the brand is you are family-owned. You know, and there's, you know, things about family-owned versus having a corporation that people like. And so having a family-owned business is not necessarily a bad thing, you know, so you can lean into that. So brand is your reputation. What are you known for? These are the things that you're known for. What do the customers mention in reviews? You know, so let's say you're going through your review, your Google review, Facebook review, and you constantly see the same thing. Oh, wow. For me, for Creative Collection, it's about the quality that we give people, the visual quality. A lot of people always say something about that, you know, like, wow, this looks clean, this looks good, you know, sharp, it's in focus, you know, and all that type of stuff. So the quality is a big thing for me, always been, and it's still something that I'm still trying to tweak. You know, it's never going to be perfect because we can't be perfect, but continue to tweak. So that's what you're known for in your reviews. And then what do people, and then like part of this, which is also number 3, is your identity, which is branding. So brand and branding goes together. So if there is a disparity between your brand, what you're known for, and what you want to be known for, so your brand is what you're known for, and then you do branding, which is what you actually want to be known for. So for example, taking that HVAC company. So let's say people know them, that they have a slow response, but truly they want to be known as fast response. The first thing is to fix their problem, obviously. And then now you do branding after you fix the problem to start putting out content and marketing and ads that you are a fast response team. Put it on your website, your messaging, you are a fast response team. So I will now dive more into branding, but brand. So if you are wanting to figure out your brand, talk to your clients, talk to your customers. What are they saying about you? What are people just saying about you? And I think it goes beyond even just the social realm of things, but also in your life. You know, what are you known for? Are you a consistent person? Are you trustworthy? Are you building a business that is actually going to prioritize people? Like, are you are you building a business that's built on integrity? Like, what are those values? You know, and that's what I'll say from a brand perspective.
And it seems like so far, like, is there a specific order to follow? So you're saying the word is bridge,
right?
It does seem like in some cases the I feels like it comes first. But there's going to be some scenarios where it's like the identity kind of go inward first, go handle that, and then, you know, as you go be around people, go provide your service. It will kind of fix itself due to the internal piece.
I don't think this is in any specific order. I think it's just having a name. So having the word bridge, you know, which is good because you're bridging the gap between what you want to be known for and what you're currently known for. And that's what bridge stands for, really. And so these are the things that you should do in order to bridge that gap. Is to create that brand and understand that brand.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So video content acts as the vehicle, right? The point in where you want to go from point A to B is a vehicle to take you there. So, if you're listening to it, like, figure out your reputation statements. What are the things that you currently are known for, and write those things down. You know, so that's the B in bridge. So moving on to the R. The R is the route, the customer journey. So this is how you take people from point A to B, and it shouldn't be random. You know, it's how someone travels around your brand. Like, for example, if you have an offer, how do they get from, you know, seeing your content to actually paying you money? You know, so nowadays, looking at social media, we're in something called the trust recession. People don't trust people as much on social media. So why am I posting on social media then? You know, it's, again, going back to the B, build a brand that is trustworthy. You know, you actually do what it is that you say you do, right? And then now with the R, you're taking people, a lot of times, and I've heard Neil Dingra say this well, is a lot of times people are talking to people on social media and they're talking to the people that are ready to buy, which is a small percentage of people. About 10% of people are probably ready to buy right off the bat on social media. And then you have this big group of people, about 80 to 90% of people that are in the not yet group. They are not ready to buy. So then you have to take them on the customer journey of, you're not ready to buy, so come into my world, and then we'll prime you until you're ready to buy. So that's marketing. So you take them from social media, because people that are scrolling on social media right now, they're not pulling out their cards to pay anything. They're sitting there because they want to be entertained.
Yeah, a whole different reason,
Yeah, like when I'm ready for downtime, that's when I pull out my phone and I scroll, looking through what's going on, right, on social media. So there's a lot of people that are using social media in the same way. They want to be entertained. They're looking at influencers' lives. They're laughing. They're smiling. That's what social media is for. It's taking a break from your actual life sometimes, from reality. So then you have to map out this journey of the awareness first, right? You have a problem that I'm able to help you fix. You know, that's the first stage, awareness. The next is the consideration, is that they are actually considering using you or paying for your services. And then the next phase is decision. I trust you. I trust that you're going to, based on my content that you've been watching, because I've moved you from the not yet to now you're ready to buy. You know, like taking them off platform into your funnel, whereas you could nurture that group of people until they are ready to buy. rather than trying to go with the 10% of people that may be ready to buy, it becomes harder. And this is what Neil Dingert says, right? Is that it's harder to get those 10% of people right off the bat, except if you're like some world-class marketer and you know exactly, how to persuade those people to buy right now. But going into the camp of the not yet and then nurturing them until they're ready to buy. So give them their awareness, let them make a decision. I'll let them consider you first and then let them make a decision and then they trust you to buy. Yeah.
Just brings us back to the entire idea of how trust takes time overall. And they have interest,
Right.
just not in this very moment. In the meantime, they're being served.
Right.
Like they're receiving value. They're not just waiting for whatever. There's a specific process that you have brought them on.
Yeah.
And you're showing them like, hey, like I'm going to take care of, I want to take care of you as well. I'm going to take care of these people until you choose yourself that you're ready.
Exactly.
Rather than persuading them in a whole different way.
Yeah.
And they're not even ready for it.
Right. And I like the way you said that, choose yourself, because that's what it is. It's you have the problem and the business has the solution to that problem, and they just need to get you aware that they have the solution, And so as a business owner, what we're really trying to do is make people aware that you have the solution to their problem. Because as the client, as the customers, they know they have a problem, or sometimes they may not even know they have a problem. And then your solution is the way to fix that problem. And what we're doing, I think Myron Golden talks about it, is you have to show up in a way where you are helping people fix their problem. And then from there, they trust you. And so that's what we're trying to do, with it. So moving on to number 3 in Bridge, identity, which is, like to your point, I believe that if you're creating a business, this is where you should start, like the messaging part of it, whereas people are bugged down about the colors and the font and what the website looks like and all those fun things. It is fun to create a website and a landing page and create all those assets that you can use for your brand, and it's important. It's not your brand, but it is part of your brand, and it actually depicts a certain message that you're trying to say, right? But the messaging, the words that you communicate, and how you want people to actually feel about who you are and what you're doing is more important. And that's what messaging is. That's what branding is your identity. Your visual identity is important. How you communicate something, the tone of voice that you use is important. The way you actually say those things are important. And so when you are figuring out your message, is it repeatable? Is it something that people could repeat? One thing that I'm working on with one of my partners, Isaiah, is we're putting together this in-person experience, right, for creatives and business owners, because we've come to the conclusion that businesses need creatives in this day and age, and creatives need businesses. And so they need to work hand in hand to create an impactful brand, right? So we're creating the not-for-sale experience because we want people to understand, just how to work together properly. And so one of the things that we're saying is, in order to build, so the slogan, in a sense, that is repeatable is better creatives, better brands, better leaders. In order to create that better brand, you need the creative and the leader together to do it. So that's a repeatable slogan. That's a repeatable message that people could remember. The next thing is, what do you stand for, right? What do you stand for? What are some of your values as you're creating that identity? Like I mentioned, being a business that works on integrity. That's something that I strive for in just my regular life, is to have people, is to do things that are integral, in the community. And so what does your business stand for? What are some of your values? What are some of the things that you identify as? And then, you figure out those things, those pillars, and then you just put that message outside with video as the vehicle, right? So again, video acts as a vehicle. Your branding is the message and the action that you take in order to influence your brand. And the brand is what people actually see and what people actually say, that's the person for me, and I trust you.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Even like word of mouth, it reminds me of like word of mouth marketing. Like that's exactly what they're gonna go tell, their family member
Yeah.
about you, and you're not even there, but they got to experience doing work with you,
Right.
and that's what goes around when you're not in the room.
Exactly. And then the word of mouth becomes like building a brand, word of mouth. And people will have such a bad taste about word of mouth, but it's probably the best way to get business because when someone vouches for you, they're putting themselves on the line as well. So when they vouch for you, they're saying, I trust this person. So therefore, you should trust this person as well. So one of
Feels
the
like a
best thing-
shortcut a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You're putting other people's what's it called, relationships. So if you are, as a brand owner, as a business owner, you better come and deliver and do the things that you say you could actually do. And then rather than, because when you're doing marketing, you're taking someone from awareness to consideration to them actually choosing you, right? You're leading them from cold to warm to hot. And that process, to get them to trust you is a lot longer versus someone vouching for you. That process condenses and is shorter, right? So, yeah, identity. So we've gone through B, R, and I, brand, the route, and then the identity of what you're doing. So the next thing is, how do you deliver this? What are some of your formats? We've talked about video, talked about some of the things that people do. Businesses, they don't need more content. They need the content that actually works for them, And a lot of times we're fighting with entertainers and influencers when it comes to social media. There's a lot of people out there that could post something that may not be that good, but because they have a lot of eyeballs, they get all the likes, they get all the shares, they get all the engagement. And us as business owners were fighting against that, And so that's why we talked about trust, because it's not about likes, it's not about follow, it's about building trust long term with those people. It's not about going viral either. It's about putting out content that is actually good for what you're doing and could actually bring people into your worldview, and then you could influence them to take the action that you want them to take. So, formats, right? Let's talk about some of the formats that we use, with Creative Collection. One is podcast, especially exactly what we're doing right now. This is a format to get our message out there, right? The next thing is talking head videos. I do that for social, where I sit in front of the camera and I talk directly to it for about 30 seconds to a minute, right? That's a talking head video. And then the next thing is behind the scenes, or B-roll, where we've gathered behind the scenes of what we're doing right then and there. Sometimes we even do that for podcasts, where you're usually behind the camera as well, where you take some behind the scenes of a podcast session happening. So now we're doing two things at once. We're doing a podcast conversation, but then we also have behind the scenes that we can use later on. So now that's a different type of format, from the same thing. You're killing two birds with one stone. And that's the thing about content is, don't try to create content, be the content. And podcast allows you to do that, with two formats. Podcast, you're being the content. Camera's right there. I can look at the camera. So now it becomes a direct-to-camera conversation rather than having a podcast conversation with someone, and people that's sitting in are just part of the conversation. And then we get the behind the scenes of, okay, you could get some of the camera, some of the mics, some of hand gestures, what we're doing, the things that people don't see on the full podcast. That's what the behind the scene helps them to see, right?
Brings them in a whole different way.
Okay. In a whole different way. And then the next thing I want to talk about is live, right? So live conversations. Either you're going live on Instagram, you're going live on TikTok, you're going live on YouTube, or you're going live on Zoom. That is honestly the fastest way to build trust, because you cannot edit a live. You cannot, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. If you say something weird, you say something weird, you can't delete that part. The people that are listening to it right then and there, they know you for real. And that's why live is the best way to build trust when it comes to this. So,
I
yeah.
love that. And you don't really see that often anymore. I mean, at least I don't. Do you see people still do lives?
It's hard on Instagram now. You don't see, because back in the day on Instagram, you could go to a tab that was live and you could see anyone that was live. Now you only see the people on your friend groups,
Who
the
are
people
live?
that you follow that are live while they're live.
Got it.
It's weird now.
I haven't
the way
seen
they
that in
have
like
it.
years.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can see why that would just
Right.
cut through so many of the barriers
Yeah, exactly.
between people, like automatically on a subconscious level. Just like I am more connected to this person, and I just love that entire idea
Yeah.
of seeing more lives.
Right. It's cool because then you feel connected to them.
Yeah.
If they have kids and their kids running up on the live, you can't delete that, you know? Like I have kids too. Imagine I'm doing a Zoom call and they're running. Like I don't care. Like I love my kids to the point where I, like, interrupt me, please. I tell my wife the same thing. If there's anything and I'm doing something, like interrupt me, you know? And that's how I want to live my life, you know, with them. So with doing all this thing, it builds authority. You know, it's number one. They see you as the expert in your space. You don't want to come off as an expert or as a guru because I'm like, even what we're talking about today, I'm not the only one that has these answers. There's other people that have these answers. The only reason that someone might listen to me is because of the way I'm maybe breaking it down for them to hear and understand. So then we're building some kind of authority. The next is trust, right? Proof of what you do. So I'm going to give you a framework within a framework.
Okay, let's hear it.
So the proof, I created a product, a video product called the Video Proof Collection System. So this is a way to collect proof as a business owner. It's what we've already done for a lot of our clients, what we did for clients in the medical space, clients in the dental space, clients in the golf space. You know, it works for any industry, right? It's basically taking the story of the brand, the story of the founder, the stories of the employees and the people that work there, and then the stories of the clients. So you're doing 4 different things that builds trust, authority, testimonials from the clients. It's not just your regular testimonials. You're asking curated questions. I'm asking them curated questions to actually produce the answers that I want them. You know, again, the messaging is important, right? So you're just taking some random thought that the person might have had. You know, if it's a part of the experience, sure. But if it's just like an idea as a client, you know, then it doesn't make it in. But you're creating this proof, you know, for other people to be able to see. You piece it together, you create one brand video. You take the questions from the founder, you create an authority video. You take the answers from the founder, you create an authority video. Take the answers from the employers, from the employees, and create another type of video. You take all the testimonials and you create testimonial videos.
Dang.
You know, now you have the main brand video, just from one session, right? The main brand video. You have the founder-led videos. It could be multiple videos. You have the employees' standpoint videos, and then you have testimonials. And so now you put all this together, it creates proof from other people that are watching it. And not to mention B-roll and behind the scenes. That's another type of format that will bring into that. I always take B-roll content most of the times for most of the things I would do, because now that's building trust in other business owners that I do what I say that I do, right? And then we post it up, we put it up as well. But imagine doing this monthly for your business. What is that doing? It's building trust, you know, within other people, within potential clients, that you're taking them from the awareness standpoint to the consideration standpoint to the I trust you and I want to buy from you.
I love it. Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like going this route and like looking 6 months later, 12 months later, like you probably even draw in clients that you never thought you would draw in. Like you're probably getting connection with people who are a lot more consistent, who are a lot more just full of wisdom in the space rather than maybe the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
For
I just
sure.
feel like it would change completely changes who you speak to.
Right.
So of course it's going to change who comes into your world after that, and just the opportunities that come, the relationships that come.
Yeah, for sure.
But to realize that this is the harder route, would you say?
I wouldn't call it harder. I think it is, honestly, it's a more simplified route. The harder route is just posting random things.
True.
That's not going to do anything
It's
for your
crazy.
business.
Crazy
You know,
perspective. Yeah.
where it's like, you may think, oh, it's easy to just do this video. It's not connected to your business in one point, and it doesn't do anything to draw in new customers or clients. Because at the end of the day, that's what a business is. You don't have a business until you have a client or a customer that is actually paying you. That's when you have a business. That's what the IRS says about business. They don't consider your business until you have income, right? And so you have it's harder to just throw up random videos, random trends on your Instagram, on your website. You know, the message is not going to be congruent. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be cohesive, and so it's all over the place. And then guess what you're doing? You are now building trust with your customers and your clients. So that's the name of the game, is be consistent, but also build trust with people. And that's why, like, this year we started this podcast beginning of 2024, right? It's been 2 years, well, not 2 full years. It's been a full year of doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah. A full 2 years. Sorry.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
a full 2 years.
Yes.
Filming the podcast.
Yeah. And putting content out there. But this year feels different for some reason. It's like I've taken it up a notch with not just podcasts, but with different styles and types of content on social. And I want to remain consistent with doing that and doing formats that actually work for me. I like podcasting. I don't like direct-to-camera videos. I've tried it, at least long form. I've tried it, but it doesn't work for me. Now I could do it for short-form content. That's not a big deal. But I'd rather have a conversation. Even though I am an introvert, or I consider myself an introvert, I still would rather have a conversation with someone in the room. So now, going back to the delivery is you have to find the format that works for you. If you don't like podcasting, do not podcast. You know, if you don't like doing talking head videos, do not do talking head videos. Try it, see if it works for you, and then put it out there. The easiest type of content to make is or the simplest content strategy to follow is by taking one story and doing it into multiple formats. So take a story that you've already experienced, that you have something passionate about, do a reel about it, do a story about it, and then do a behind the scenes about it, do a case study about it. So now you have 4 different posts from one story. So it's a simple way to remain consistent, because what people do is they take one post and then that's it. It never sees the light of day ever again. You know, whereas when you buy music or you purchase a movie, you watch it over and over and over again because it's that good. So you create one post and then break it down into different types of format. And then now you continue to remain consistent. And also even take that same message and just say it in 100 different ways, you know? So take one message and break it down in multiple different ways. That way your message remains consistent.
Well, so really finding what delivery is best for the specific person.
Right.
Because it's not the same for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But it sounds like it's kind of like the opposite of what we hear today. Because it's like you do this, then you get this.
Right.
But I love that you're bringing in that insight. And so for a form of delivery, you're saying you can break down one story in many different ways. One being a reel, one being a carousel, right? And maybe using just wording, no voice, things like that. And then, I don't know, like a entertaining one of how this video even came together, but maybe still interject the story a little bit.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's like you don't have to think of, so let's say you want to post 3 times a week. You don't have to think about 3 different posts. You could think about one post and then do it 3 different ways.
Love it.
Yeah. Now, and the reason I say that is there's something called creative fatigue, right? Or video fatigue. People might see a video today, and then if you post it in like 2 days from now, they've forgotten that you posted that. But if you do it in a different way, they feel like it's a new post, you know?
And they're also feeling different that day. And they end up not only liking it, but they comment.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're trying to find people in the place where they feel comfortable buying. You know, that's why I think as business owners, we want to take them off platform as much as possible to be in your own world, you know, rather than competing with other people on social. So that's that. So let's move on to G, game plan. Figuring out your system, your cadence. You know, we've talked about posting 3 times a day, you know, but if you're big on systems, you could create a content system that works for you. Again, I'm saying everything has to work for you because at the end of the day, you're running this business. You don't want it to run like someone else's business that maybe they're a $10 million business and maybe you're a $1 million business. Now, it's a huge gap. Maybe 10 million, they're able to hire a whole media team that does everything for them. Whereas it's you and someone else. Or maybe it's just you. So trying to compete with that person, it doesn't work for you. So come up with a game plan and a system that actually works for you. One of the ways that we could do that, you know, we've done that for clients is having a content day, right? Where we batch shoot a lot of different things. We come once a month and you have enough posts or enough, social posts for a month, you know? Filming one times for 30 days out of the client. So you're not posting all 30 days. Maybe you might post 12 to 15 times, which is a good cadence to have. The quality of content, I think, in my opinion, is still better than the quality. You need both. You need enough quantity, but you need better quality of the creative that you keep posting. So the game plan is film once, have enough for a month, if that's the type of cadence that you have. The way I do personal is to film once a week. You know, do a podcast once a week, do short form content on the same day, and just rinse and repeat. You know, now when we have shoots and with client shoots, now we're capturing BTS. That's a different format, and then we'll post that. So now, if you don't meet with your clients regularly, you could get behind the scenes of you working in your office. That's a different type of post, you know, and come up with some kind of voiceover or some kind of text that could go over the video, you know. That's another way to do it. Another format or system is podcast. Film one podcast a week. You could get 5 to 7 different clips out of that. You know, if that's the system that you want to run for your business. And if that works for your format, again, go back to the format. Do you like podcasting? If you do, film one podcast a week and then post it 5 to 7 times on your social to promote the podcast on YouTube. And I say do a video podcast over just an audio podcast, because then you could just throw up your phone. You don't need fancy equipment. Use your phone if you're just starting out, and then get a mic that sounds really good and put that up, you know? Actually, in the description, I have my gear doc, you know, just down there. So if you want to see all the equipment that we have in this room for podcasts, for virtual desk setup, as well as for short form content, click the link in the description, and then you'll be able to see everything that you need. You don't need to buy everything, but you need to start somewhere and then upgrade as you go. So that's what it is. Yeah.
And so that's bridge.
Well, there's one more thing.
I was going to say there's
an E at the end
got
of
it,
it.
got it, got it.
That's a BRIDG, and then there's a E.
Okay.
Questions so far?
Maybe after E. I want to hear
Okay.
E. I want to hear E.
So
like
E,
where we're headed.
Yeah, evidence. How do you measure all of this, right? Does it matter to measure all of it? You know, do you quantify your likes, your follow, your views, all of that? Do you track it? The way I approach it, the outputs don't matter as much. And what matters the most is the inputs. That's the evidence for me. Is how much are you actually doing? How much content are you putting in, you know, to get the outputs that you want?
Like intentional content,
intentional
not just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Got it.
My coach, I don't want to wreck this, but my coach, Omar Altokoria, says this. Intentional consistency produces unexplained opportunities.
Got it.
Opportunities will come that you don't expect. Unexpected opportunities. Opportunities will come that you don't expect based out of you being intentionally consistent. So the input is more important than than the metrics or anything like that. Now, metrics may be important if you're running ads to know like, okay, this is going here. This is how much we're spending on this ad. This is what is returning. This is your ROI for all this. But if you are creating content, Myron Golden said this, I'm going to create content for 10 years. That was his goal. He didn't have a metric. He didn't say, I want X amount of followers, X amount of likes. He just said, I'm going to create content for 10 years and see what happens from there. 3 years into it, 4 years into it, this man has million plus subscribers on YouTube, million plus followers on Instagram.
By focusing on the thing that actually brought value.
Exactly.
And it's a long game, it seems like.
It's a long game. And people would think it's a short game. It's like, oh, I'm just doing this for a year, see what happens. It's not working 3 months. Yeah, let's change it. It's like, this is a long game. And I look at it as business. It's like for me, my business is about legacy. I'm leaving a legacy for my kids to be able to follow all this podcast. Hopefully they get to hear it and listen to it one day to know who their dad actually was. All these conversations that I'm having with people, it's not just about content. It's also about bringing my family along with the journey, my kids, for them to actually see and know who I was. That's what it is. It's about legacy, right? So there's a deeper meaning behind all that I'm doing and trying to build. It's not just about content and putting content out there, you know? And so the game is different. It's long. It's not just for a year. It's not just for 2 years. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do this, you know? That's all it is.
From your experience, have you seen social media change just even over like the last 3 years?
Absolutely.
Right.
You know,
you think it's just going to keep changing?
It's always changing. The algorithm changes almost every day or every week or something like that. So don't focus on the algorithm, you know?
Yeah. The way I've been viewing it lately is like the way that we're consuming is even a little different.
Yeah.
Like it's social media. The fast stuff's always, I feel, who knows, maybe always gonna be relevant.
Right.
But from like if you have a product of some sort, it's like I think we're willing to buy, but it's like give me a different reason to buy. Don't just put it in front of my face and expect me to spend $70 on this. It's like I'll spend it, but bring me into the meaning maybe behind this idea, or like give me a different invoke a different emotion or something rather than the predictability of what I think I'm just going to watch.
Yeah.
I think for me, I realize I scroll a lot when I can already predict what it is. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's always going to be like that over the years as well. And I don't even intend to scroll. I'm just like, I think my brain just associates how what I'm going to hear, even though it's completely different probably.
Right.
But it's just realizing though that it's always going to be changing. And I love that you bring in that perspective of like, so don't focus on the metrics, right? Like it brings us back to the entire idea of the process over the outcome. And it sounds very,
Yeah.
we hear it a lot, but it's like, I think years and years later, we will always come down to the fact that the process is the most important thing.
It
Because I
is.
feel like that has a lot to do with the
Yeah.
identity and
Yeah,
things
because
like that.
especially building a brand, it's about who you're becoming as you build the brand. I mentioned at the earlier start of this podcast that I'm an introvert, right? And most people see introverts doing podcasts like, no, that's not a thing that could happen. That could actually be a cool name, the introverted podcaster.
Hey, I love it. Like, huh?
Right? And so if you're following metrics, like back in the day, it was about follow account, right? That's what mattered. How many followers do you have? And that did a lot. Like you have 10K followers. Okay, now you could do this. Remember when that was a thing?
Yeah.
You have 100K followers. All right, brand deals. Let me pay you this amount of dollars. Now it's about reach, right? And engagement. And, not so much about your followers. It's is actually engaging on your post. Who are you reaching? That matters. So things are going to change. You become the person that you're just going to do the thing that, like, obviously adapt with what's changing, but also just remain constant and consistent in what you're doing. So intentional consistency builds unexplained opportunities. And that's what it is. Bridge.
Fire.
BRIDGE. Brand, route, identity, delivery, like delivery for formats, game plan, and then evidence.
I love this. Yeah.
That's what
and it speaks to all different levels of experience. That's what I'm noticing. It's making me think, because there's so much, even aside from this, it's like I love using Bridge. There's a lot of other information out nowadays. And for the person who's saying like, okay, great, that sounds good. I know I relate to all of this, but why am I still unclear on where to begin? And so for that, is it just, do you guide them to just the entire acronym of Bridge? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Bridge is a way to bridge the gap between your branding and your brand. So let's say this is more for people that are already doing video content and all that.
Got it.
Let's say you're just starting out and you're not necessarily doing this. Could still work for you, but you need to be able to sit down with a strategist that could help you conceptualize your brand and your branding, right? So let's say you have a business and now you're on a jump on doing video content. Well, I'm going to ask a bunch of questions about who you are, about what you sound like, about what do you want to do with your business, like what your business does, and how do you want to represent your business on social media. And then from there, we'll come up with the game plan, right? So you get the identity, then you get the game plan of what to do, and then you put out your message to build the brand. And then from there, you get you use the delivery methods, right? And then from there, you get the evidence that you need. So if I was to break it down into, like, for people that want step-by-step process on how to do this, is start with the identity, right? Start with your message. From there, the message is going to get you your systems, right? The systems that you need in order to actually get your content out there. And then from there, you're going to have your delivery formats. This is the way that I want to deliver X, Y, and Z.
On a consistent basis.
And then you're going to have some kind of level of customer route based on your system. This is how this is the offer I want to put out there for my clients to go from point A to point B. And then from there, you build the brand and you get the evidence of what you're building. So that's how I would put it. Someone else might put it differently, but that's how I'll put it. And that's how it makes sense in my head. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. If you're listening to this conversation and you have any questions, please put it down in the comments. And I'll do my best to go in the comments and answer any other questions. And, thank you for joining us with the Creative Collection podcast, the team podcast. We're going to do more of these. And just having conversations of creating content and doing stuff like that. So if you're still listening, DM me the word Creative Fam. I want to know that you stayed until the end of this filming to actually listen to what we're saying. So until next time, peace.